Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I posted an announcement on my channel a few hours ago discussing the reason why I was not able to cover this topic in a timely manner that I'll go ahead and throw up on the screen for you now, so if you would like, you can pause the video and read that for yourself. I won't read that statement here for you out of respect for the people that aren't interested in the trials and tribulations of the week, so we'll go ahead and get right into it here because while I am a day or two late on this, the more people that are aware of what is happening, I feel, the better. We all know the loot box controversy is not going to wind down or reach resolution anytime soon, and as a result of a recent session with the UK Parliament's Digital, Culture, Media and Sports Committee's session on immersive and addictive technologies, EA's Vice President of Legal and Government Affairs, Kerry Hopkins, has, at least in my eyes, removed any and all doubt that the AAA corporations will continue to steadfastly refuse any form of meaningful and legitimate self-regulation on the matter of loot boxes. And also, due to some recent, shall we say, confusion on the part of some commenters in recent videos, let me fill you in on the basic format just so we don't run afoul of any misperceptions. These videos take place in 3 distinct phases or segments. In the opening segment, I frame the discussion and the general premise for the topic I'll be discussing. In the second part, I line out the information as we know it with as little editorialization as possible. Then in the final segment, I provide my own critique on the information at hand, and I do my best to contextualize everything. I'm lining this out specifically due to the recent Reset Era controversy video in which some people were unhappy that I showed information from the NeoGAF post, and then in the third part of that video, my impressions directly contradicted some of the information therein. That can and will happen on occasion, and that's due to my not attempting to push a specific narrative when it comes to relating the information at hand. Now, I trust the majority of my viewers to be intelligent enough to formulate your opinions based upon the information provided. I have no wish to be a gatekeeper, and I expect people to think for themselves. I offer my opinion in every video because mine is an opinion-based channel, and we all know how much I love to soapbox. But I build into the format of these videos methods that prevent my opinion from being the only one available. And as some people did not realize this, for this video and for the next few, I will remind people of the format of these videos just so we're 100% clear. That said, as always, links to any sources used will be in the description down below, and if you happen to like these videos, the greatest help you could be is to like, share, drop a comment, do all the things that the YouTube algorithm loves because this channel doesn't grow if you don't let it. So let's talk about Electronic Arts and Kerry Hopkins. On Wednesday, June 19th, the UK Parliament's Digital, Culture, Media and Sports Committee held a 2-hour and 40-minute long session on the topic of immersive and addictive technologies. Per ParliamentLive.tv, witnesses at that session included Sean Campbell, the Electronic Arts UK Country Manager, Kerry Hopkins, the Electronic Arts Vice President for Legal and Government Affairs, Matthew Weisinger, the Director of Marketing for Epic Games, and Cannon Pence, the General Counsel for Epic Games. At about 1 hour and 15 minutes into that session, the topic turned to loot boxes, which is where Kerry Hopkins stated that these were not loot boxes, but were quite ethical surprise mechanics akin to Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals. Now, I've downloaded the video and I will show you the relevant clip now.
And we've heard a lot of evidence in this committee from Dr. David Zendel, among others, that loot boxes are closely linked to problem gambling, particularly among adolescents. Can I ask you, both companies, do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games? Kerry?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
whatever term you wish to apply to them. Do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics, but I think it's important to look at this. So if you go to a I don't know what your version of Target is, but a store that sells a lot of toys, and you do a search for surprise toys, what you'll find is that this is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises. And so it's something that's been part of toys for years, whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise. We do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable to people. We agree with the UK Gambling Commission, the Australian Gambling Commission, and many other gambling commissions that they aren't gambling, and we also disagree that there's evidence that shows it leads to gambling. Instead, we think it's like many other products that people enjoy in a very healthy way, and like the element of surprise.
Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, your loot boxes or surprise mechanics, you have no ethical qualms whatsoever with.
So I think you're recharacterizing my language. What I said is I think the way we've implemented our FIFA Ultimate Team packs is ethical.
Okay, other than FIFA and other games that you provide, are you equally comfortable and relaxed about
For
them?
all of the games we have on the market that have a randomized content mechanic, a surprise mechanic, a loot box, I have no qualms that they are implemented in an unethical way.
And so there's really not much to go off of there when it comes to information, and as always, there is just so much disingenuous nonsense with anything that comes out of an EA executive's mouth. First of all, of course, EA will side with any country that does not define loot boxes and their ridiculously profitable FIFA Ultimate Team packs as gambling, and will quote-unquote disagree with any country that does define them as gambling. This is classic corporate speak in action, attempting to redefine the controversial item into another term that doesn't carry as negative a connotation. Loot boxes are widely regarded in a negative light due to the predatory nature of the slot machine style mechanics that is sometimes also used in pay-to-win business models. The EA corporate has decided that they want to rebrand them as surprise mechanics in order to carry a less negative connotation and to be able to associate them with less predatory business models like Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals. Now this of course is a very invalid comparison and EA knows it, but they're relying on people being either simple-minded enough or simply not well enough versed on the subject to be able to obfuscate the differences. One of the largest being the slot machine methods employed by loot box games like FIFA Ultimate Team, Overwatch, Fortnite, PUBG, CSGO, and so many others. Again, Electronic Arts focuses their argument on the outcome, which is a deliberate misrepresentation of the problem because with gambling, the outcome does play a part in it, yes, but it is by no means the primary component in what makes gambling so addictive. It is the act of gambling, win or lose, that causes that burst of sweet, sweet dopamine. It is the element of risk. The slot machine visuals help maximize the buildup, help drag out that feeling of risk anticipation for as long as possible. That is the reason why loot boxes aren't just instant click open, see item. It is the build-up and the slot machine presentation that they have so carefully implemented and refined because they know full well that you can have all of the elements of gambling without the legal classification of gambling. The argument of whether or not loot boxes are gambling is taking us down a road to a fight that we will not ultimately be able to win. Mostly because in most countries the law has not had a chance to catch up to the breakneck pace of the digital world. It is not a question of whether or not loot boxes are legally classified as gambling now, but whether we should adopt expanding gambling legislation to be able to include loot boxes as a form of gambling, and while doing so, requiring the implementation of less predatory outcomes based on algorithmic designs and the requiring of proper age gating of loot box mechanics. We've seen ample evidence over the past couple of years that those with addictive personalities or those that are battling gambling addiction are not the only ones in this controversy that have a problem with addiction. The games industry as a whole has become addicted to the easy money that loot boxes represent, causing them to focus the very core of their game designs to focus not on the art of designing a good game, not on the art of designing a compelling interactive story with meaningful intellectual or emotional impact, but on focusing on the minimum viable. Making games that slowly diverge from gameplay and focus more on the digital slot machine contained within the game and creating as little low-effort drip-feed content as necessary within a live service business model to ensure the maximum profit potential possible. Make no mistake, loot boxes are neither surprise mechanics nor are they ethical in any shape or form. They are video game cancer. They've fundamentally changed the video game industry and not in a good way. Electronic Arts, Epic Games, all of the publicly traded corporations are determined at all costs to turn the AAA industry into a digital Las Vegas, but without any legally enforced standards of practice. You know, it still amazes me that any executive at EA can sit there and talk about ethics without catching on fire or something. The concept of true ethical standards are so anathema to these corporations, one would think even the utterance of such words would have an effect on them much like holy water does on the undead. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.